guy say one time, I finally realized that 95% of my pain was self-inflicted. And man, that just hit me like a lightning bolt right between the eyes. I said, God, that's true. That's true. And I was able to realize what he was saying because I had been on a spiritual path for a while and I was coming to understand a lot of things, but that is absolutely true. And if it's true, it's good news. It's great news because if we're causing 95% of our own pain and unhappiness, we can learn how to stop doing that. We can stop doing it, but we have to learn how, of course. Which brings us to a spiritual answer, a spiritual way of living. I came to a point where I was so broken on the inside and so bankrupt in every area of life, especially spiritually, mentally, emotionally bankrupt, that I had to do something different. I became willing to do something different, put it that way. And I was introduced to a simple, practical, spiritual way of living that brought about a great transformation in the way I perceived reality and perceived life and people and God and God's universe, everything, which allowed me to stop sabotaging myself almost continual basis when I got here. I'd be crazy by 9 o'clock in the morning before I began to learn to live by spiritual principles. So what are they? What do I do? One of the biggest the first really and the most important is prayer. I had to learn to pray. I had to learn the right, correct way to pray. Start my day, they suggested, with prayer and meditation. We have the guys we work with do the same thing. Read a few things. And what do I mean by prayer and meditation? I don't mean chanting and doing all that. I mean, it's okay. I'm not knocking it, but that's not what I do. What I do is very practical and straightforward that I learned from the beginning, and it's worked very well for me, so I don't try to change it too much. My purpose, my main number one goal in taking a quiet time in the morning that I call meditation, reading some things, putting some good information into my mind, my soul, and then get on my knees and pray. And I found that getting on your knees is the most effective way to pray. I don't know why. Probably just because it focuses my attention better. I don't know. But it works, so I do it. But my main objective in my morning meditation, number one, is to get myself in a mindset that is free from fear, to rise my consciousness, myself way above any fear, cast out all fear. Because fear is the center of my disease. Fear causes me a huge amount of problem if I allow it to. And left to my own devices, I will get fearful. Sometimes I wake up with some fear in the back of my mind, and I have to get rid of it, thoroughly get rid of it and understand it. And I know how to do that today. I know how to do that, Basically, it comes down to whatever I read in whatever form of prayer I say, it comes down to remembering, like Emmett Fox says, remembering and realizing, recollecting and realizing the truth about God. I take the time to get in that frame of mind where I remember that God takes care of me. God has been taking care of me for many days in a row, or at this point, many years in a row. But in the beginning, it was many days in a row. And no matter what transpires during the day, I always seem to come out okay. And I grabbed a hold of a few fundamental truths, that I can do all things to God who gives me strength today. All things. So I'm not afraid of what's coming up. You have to start with some other principles, going over them too. What I'm talking about is a set of tools here. They laid out a kit of spiritual tools for me, prayer being the first one. Acceptance being the second one. Acceptance is a practical surrender. Acceptance, when you see what acceptance means and you begin to practice it, it's by your living, by your putting one foot in front of the other, and by changing your thinking. I trust you, God. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. What's that mean? What is that? That's everything out there. I cannot control other people. I cannot control the circumstances that are going to rise up today as I go through the day. Situations are going to come up, and I will deal with them. If I have a high level of acceptance, they don't shake me. They don't bother me. It's okay. Well, that's not what we wanted, but we'll do this. We'll go to plan B or plan C or D or whatever it takes. But I'm not shaken up and angry and upset and take it personal. Oh my God, take things personal. I don't do that. I really ask God every day and throughout the day, God grant me the strength to accept a high level of acceptance. And along with that comes a attitude that you really want to try to start your day with, of gratitude, gratefulness. I look around, I look around and I see things that I'm grateful for, simple things, real things. A hot shower, a nice cup of coffee. This coffee's good this morning, and the sun is shining out today. That's fantastic. We're going to have a great day. On and on and on. The kids are doing well. There's no list. I could sit here for 2 hours, 2 days, and tell you my gratitude list. But in the beginning, I had to learn to be grateful. I had to learn to be conscious of the good things in my life. I was so used to that old way of thinking that is always looking for a problem, always trying to look around the corner and see what's coming, because we're in a state of fear and anxiety all the time. This is starting your day. Get rid of that shit. Realize what's going to happen today is going to happen. And I can do all things through God who strengthens me. There's a prayer. It's one of my favorite scriptures. And also, that goes along with that, hand in glove type thing, is another scripture that says, God causes all things, A-double-L, all things, even the things I didn't like or didn't plan for, all things to work together for the good of those called according to his purpose. And that's me. That's you. It's not talking about some saint someplace. We're all called according to God's purpose. And what's that mean? We're all called to live in God's will today, to walk with God. For our sake. For our sake. I don't like hurting myself. I don't like being crazy. The only way that I've ever found, and the only way there is, I'm convinced, that I won't lapse into fear-based sickness is to walk with God. And so that gives me a confidence. And you got to learn these things. You must learn these things. And it takes experience. But you get a handle on the simple set of tools. We've talked about prayer and acceptance and gratitude and honesty. And we can go on, and we'll go on with some more here. But you have to pick them up and use them. I've trained many guys, many men in my career in business. I was a concrete flatwork guy, and I've taught many men how to finish concrete, and how do you go about that? Well, you lay out a few simple tools. Here's the handled tools, the bull float and the hand float and the hand edger, and you show them the tools. You show them sort of how they work. You run the bull float a couple times, and then I put it in their hands. Give it a try. Give it a try. And they'll go out and they're scraping and digging a hole, and give them a little bit of instruction. Work with them a few minutes until they're getting it to where they can run it back and forth without making a mess, and leave them alone. we teach, and the way they learn, and many of them have become expert, wonderful finishers and had great careers, learned a very, very lucrative trade, and the way they learned it was teaching themselves. Our hands teach us by doing it. That's how we learn everything, by doing it. How you will learn to get over your sickness and stop hurting yourself all the time, making yourself miserable, is by practice, by a day at a time, putting these simple spiritual tools into practice, and you will learn something. You'll learn a lot every day, especially in the first beginning year or so of adopting a spiritual way of living. You'll learn a tremendous amount, and progress will be made. But that's, we have to learn and grow. The guy also said, the statement we started with, 95% of my pain was self-inflicted, and that's absolutely true, and you'll see that clearer and clearer as you go along. He also said that, that he didn't say, but I'm saying 5%, the other 5%, the reason he didn't say 95 or 100% is because, life happens. Things do happen. Things that hurt, people get sick, people die, people treat you badly, people don't behave properly. Oh my goodness, that's a big one that you're going to have to learn how to deal with. But there's another beautiful, beautiful AA saying that I love, is pain is optional, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And man, that is so true. Things are going to happen that hurt, that sting. Okay, you take and you process it, however long that takes, depending on what it was, and you put it behind and you leave it be and move on. Or you make it into this ongoing fucking drama, oh, poor me, oh, I can't believe, and waller in it, in which case your suffering could go on for hours, days, weeks, months. Sometimes there's some of that crap I brought into the program that I had carried for years, and it's horrible, so we don't have to suffer. Things are going to happen that we don't like. We deal with them appropriately and leave them in the past. There's another tool, another principle, and I'm going to close with this. We've all heard the saying, one day at a time, and life's only one day long. And like it's a tendency to that's a cute saying, but no, that's the actual factual reality. Life is one day long, okay? One day, this day, today, is the only day you ever have. It's the only day you ever will have. You either do this one right and learn something and make progress, or you hurt yourself all day and other people. And that's the sad part about that. When we're hurting ourselves, when we allow ourselves to become real sick, we hurt the people around us as well. Today is the day that matters. That's why I'm dead serious, take my time with my meditation. Wherever I am, I don't care wherever I'm traveling, whatever I'm doing, I got to have 45 minutes in the morning to get right. And then I go through the day and I remember as many times as I have to. I say the prayer many times throughout the day, if I have to. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. I'm not afraid. Whatever today brings, I'll deal with it. And I know that I can because I have a lot of experience. In the beginning, you got to learn that. You got to have enough days of suiting up and showing up, walking through fears, do the right thing, do the hard thing, which, by the way, the hard thing, do the right thing, do the hard thing, paradoxically is the softer, easier way. And you have to find that out for yourself too. Avoiding things, procrastinating, running and hiding from your fears is a painful, rough way to live. And as you begin to get better and better, just suit up, show up, walk through your fears, you realize, oh my God, it's not that hard to have a good day. It's really easy to have a good day, have a beautiful day, and more gifts and awarenesses are added to you all the time. But Yeah, it really is true. We create 95% of our own pain. It behooves you, me, to learn how to stop doing that. That's all.